I was working there during the days and then always having singing gigs at night because I'm also a singer. And after putting on makeup for years and years and years, starting from when I was like 5 years old for recitals, started to do some research as to what was actually going into those products and therefore going onto my body. And it brought me to quite a number of different books that talked about the subject, and that's actually how I kind of became aware of different ingredients in beauty products that really do not need to be in there. I think one of the best moments actually is just the fact that I've had this idea for about 5 years now, and I started the Green Kiss only a year ago. And I think one of the best moments was right at the start of me actually putting the business into place. It was having all of my connections from the past kind of coming together and help me get the business off the ground. I think that time management and routines and all those kind of practices that would make sense to put into your business, it can be really hard as an entrepreneur because there's constantly new things coming up, you constantly have new ideas. Your plans in a day may change 3 or 4 times depending on what's happened. So sticking to a routine to make sure that you get all the tasks done that you had set out to do in that day, I think can be really challenging. Biggest rewards, I would say, personally, being in the store and meeting new customers. For me, that's the most amazing part of what I do. I found my passion actually from customers here in the store that have had stories of diagnosis of cancer or various different even skin sensitivities that they're finding it hard to find something that can actually work with their skin that they won't be irritated by. And I just find it so inspiring to keep on going because of how much of a confidence boost that you can give them by them finding a new product. For me, I've always felt like I want to create something, and that I get that feeling from being an entrepreneur. I'm a very creative person, and I find that being an entrepreneur kind of marries like creativity with a practical kind of side of life. So I really love that combination. One of the first books I read was actually called The Virtuous Consumer, and there was just one chapter in that book, The Virtuous Consumer, that talked about beauty products, and that's what kind of spawned this whole years of research for me. From that, I read a book called Not Just a Pretty Face, that's written by one of the women that's involved with the campaign for safe cosmetics, which is a nonprofit in the States. I've also read a book called There's Lead in Your Lipstick, which some people might know. That's by a Canadian author named Jillian Deacon. I find all those books incredibly inspiring because not only do they talk about products that are better for you, but they actually get into the research as to why people should be seeking out these products in the first place. The number one piece of advice I would give to aspiring young entrepreneurs would be to make connections and make good, strong connections. I feel that that's a piece of advice that I was given, I think, right out of high school. Always making sure that you keep your options open, not burning any bridges. That to me is the biggest thing that rings true from my experiences. I find that it's 100% who you know, not what you know. It's unbelievably true to me in my life. So I would definitely say that's the number one piece of advice. I'd also make sure that you know what your plan is. Make sure you have a good idea of what your brand is before you start and what your goals are. And also know what your strengths and what your weaknesses are. And if you can, make sure that if you know what you're not good at, find a way that you can have someone